Mr. Yeast Games. John the Bear's rise to victory. The roar of the crowd hit John the Bear like a tidal wave of pure, happy excitement. It was the sound of the inaugural Yeast Games, the most imaginative pizza-making competition the culinary world had ever seen. The grand prize was a mountain of $5 million worth of ingredients, sugars, and spices, enough to stock his humble den kitchen for a lifetime of baking. John, a massive grizzly with a surprisingly gentle touch when it came to kneading dough, stood along 9 other contestant chefs. There was Chef Reginald, a meticulous badger with a tiny whisk, Isabel, a speedy fox whose pizzas were legendary, and Gorilla Grub, a large, quiet gorilla with a talent for perfectly chopping veggies. A booming, cheerful voice, amplified through giant balloon-covered speakers, announced the host. Mr. Yeast, a friendly jar of active dry yeast with a wonderfully fluffy brown goatee that gleamed under the stadium lights. Welcome, contestants, welcome pizza lovers to the Yeast Games! Standing with a quick-witted second-in-command, Carlos the Gecko. He gave a tiny, bright green wave. Hope your spatulas are ready, because if your pizzas don't rise, neither will your chances. Mr. Yeast boomed. Tonight, you'll be conquering challenges, making alliances, and proving that the truly Beastly can rise to the top. Challenge 1. The Ingredient Gauntlet. Your first challenge, the Ingredient Gauntlet. Your pantry is perfect. You must navigate the obstacle course and retrieve the essential ingredients for your pizza. The catch? You can only carry 1 ingredient at a time, and you have 10 minutes. The obstacles were silly and fun. A climbing wall made of oversized, soft sponge tiles, a wobbly slide covered in slick rainbow sprinkles, a bouncy path over giant squishy tomato pillows, and a final leap across a chasm filled with flowing ribbons. Chaos erupted, the good kind. Isabella the Fox zipped up the sponge wall first. Gorilla Grub just used his strength to move the pillows aside. John, relying on his brute size, carefully scaled the sponge wall, retrieving a large bag of flour. The sprinkle slide was a ride. Chef Reginald, attempting a graceful descent, tumbled into a soft pile of colorful sugar. Carlos snickered. Looks like somebody's getting sweet rolled early. Hope that's not your secret ingredient, Reginald. John, seeing the badger struggling, extended a massive paw. Grab on, he grunted. He helped Reginald slide to safety with a bag of yeast. By the end of the 10 minutes, their individual stations miraculously had enough basic ingredients to begin. Challenge 2. The Collaboration Crust. Impressive beasts, Mr. Yeast's voice pulsed happily. Now for the Collaboration Crust. You will be paired into teams of 2. Each team must make 1 perfect crust using the set of ingredients. But 1 team member will be blindfolded, and the other can only communicate through whispers. Carlos chirped. Let's see if these big egos can play nice. Remember, too much whispering makes the dough nervous. We don't want that. John was paired with Isabella the Fox. I trust your sense of touch, John, as she put the blindfold over his eyes. Guided by Isabella's hushed instructions, John's massive paws moved with surprising dexterity, kneading the dough and feeling for the perfect consistency. He could hear Reginald and Gorilla Grub grunting in frustration nearby. Carlos yelled, "Is that dough or a dinner roll, Gorilla Grub? Can you skip arm day, even for pizza?" Finally, Isabel removed his blindfold. Before him laid a beautifully risen golden brown crust, perfectly rolled. They exchanged a look of shared doughy triumph. Challenge 3. The Topping Tower of Terror. You've proven your individual grit and teamwork, Mr. Yeast gleamed. Now for the ultimate test, the Topping Tower of Terror. You must apply all your toppings. but the workstation is elevated. You will be working on a platform 10 feet off the ground, connected by a bouncy jelly bean bridge. You have 20 minutes. Carlos chimed in. Don't look down, folks, unless you're hungry. That bridge looks a little too tempting to walk on. John didn't like heights, but the bouncy, colorful bridge, while wobbly, was more silly than scary. He carefully climbed up. The platform swayed as he moved, but he used his natural balance and strength. Isabella handed him toppings, and his paws moved with practiced rhythm, arranging the savory sausage, crisp bell peppers, and bubbling mozzarella. He even helped steady Reginald's platform, which wobbled every time the badger put down an olive. It was a teamwork challenge all the way to the end. With seconds to spare, John carefully lowered his fully topped pizza onto the conveyor belt that led directly to a sparkling, cheerful brick oven. A final triumphant clang echoed as the oven door sealed shut. The grand finale. The aroma that filled the arena was heavenly. Mr. Yeast and his three friendly food critic judges, the owl, an energetic parrot, and a kind-faced sheep, began the tasting. They loved the complex flavors of Reginald's pie and the fresh, simple goodness of Isabella's. Finally, they came to John's. The owl critic took a bite, her eyes widening. Remarkable! The crust is impossibly light yet chewy. The flavors are harmonious, a true classic, perfectly executed. Mr. Yeast boomed. The winner of the inaugural Mr. Yeast Games and recipient of 5 million ingredients, sugars, and spices is John Bear. The arena erupted in cheers and confetti. John stood there, stunned and overjoyed. Carlos zipped over and landed on John's shoulder. Well, look at you, big guy. You truly rose to the occasion. Bet your den's going to smell amazing now. It hadn't just been about winning. It had been about friendship, fun, and proving that even a simple bear can be a champion chef. John roared, a triumphant, happy sound. His kitchen was about to get the best upgrade ever.
For more fun stories like this, subscribe to Bedtime Stories by Tom and Sam today.